What's up, everyone? This is Fearfully Made, and I'm back with another video. To all of my subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing, for commenting, for liking, for sharing my videos. I appreciate your support. Sorry, I had something in my eye, like what? And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Fearfully Made, and on this channel, I talk about God's laws, statutes, and commandments. We do some Bible study and also share some stories about my life in hopes that it may uplift someone. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the family. And if you're thinking about joining this channel, hit the subscribe button and definitely hit the notification bell if you would like notification of my future uploads. I'm sorry I haven't dropped a video in a few days. It's like the last two videos I tried to upload, did not upload completely, and I don't know what happened to that. So I'm going to try to push it. I don't know. I kind of took it as like maybe God just not really want me to share that or something, But, I feel like a lot of things happen for a reason. Like, I feel like, I'm just learning how to let go of things. I'm just going to let the Holy Spirit, flow through me on this topic. So tonight we're just going to kind of talk about just like letting go, because that's kind of what just pressed upon my spirit when I said that. But just letting go and letting God just move in your life. That's kind of what, like, I came on here to talk about something totally else, but like when I said letting go or just kind of letting God, I don't know, it just kind of pressed upon my spirit. So we're going to talk about that, okay? There's different types of witchcraft that, we've grown up to, we've grown accustomed to, you know what I'm saying? Which is control and manipulation, right? Manipulation and control is witchcraft. Trying to force someone to do something a certain way or to get them to conform, that's witchcraft, okay? Trying to manipulate something to work out in your favor, right? Wow, we're really doing this, Lord. That's awesome. Because I came on here to talk about workplace mobbing, but I guess this is a whole new topic. But anyways, one thing that God has been teaching me lately is how to allow life to just flow and don't force anything. Forcing anything or trying to get something to go your way is witchcraft. And trying to manipulate situations for it to turn out in your favor, that's witchcraft. Let me give you an example. There was somebody who I asked to do something for, and I'm not going to bust you out. You know who you are, right? If they watch this video. But I asked them to do something specific, which I felt like, being that they were in a certain position, they were obligated to do what it was that I was asking them to do. You know what I'm saying? This is someone who I'm like kind of close to. And they refused. Though it would have been the right thing to do, right? They still refused to do it for selfish reasons. Like, oh, I'm not going to do this but it was something that needed to be done for very, very vital reasons. Very vital reasons, right? And so normally I would get upset, like especially, oh my gosh, the Lord has been really working on my spirit, like helping me to calm down, right? And just not get upset about stuff when it don't go my way, right? And so I said, okay, that's fine. Don't do it. And this person was just like, okay, I won't do it. And something happened to that person so that they had no other options, no choice to do it, but to do it, right? And so they ended up having to do it anyway, because what's right is right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're obligated to do this for various reasons. You know what I'm saying? When you try to get somebody to do something that they're supposed to do, or or if you think something should go a certain way because it's the logical way to do it, right? And sometimes, like, they might not want to do it, or if you feel like something should be a certain way and it's not, and you just feel like the devil's winning, you know what I'm saying? Like, God has a way to make things turn out in your favor. You know what I'm saying? So God's basically teaching me he really just wants us to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's this position that I want, but I'm also not going to sweat it if I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's this job that I really, really want, but I'm going to be just fine if I don't get it. Because I feel like if I take the job, I'm going to be really, really, really stressed out while I'm there, but it's so worth the pay, right? But if I don't if I don't get the position, then I'm going to be stress-free, right? But I'm probably going to find a job that pays just a little bit less because I only accept a certain amount of money, right? Like, there's like a minimum requirement to what I accept for paying jobs or for jobs in general. So, like, but I would, like, which one would you rather be? Like, stress-free and still have enough to pay your bills, you know what I'm saying, and eat and save a little bit, or get paid a really, really decent amount of money and be stressed to the max. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, like I feel like I can handle workplace stress because I work better under pressure. So it doesn't really bother me either way because I have God, and like I meditate on the word in the morning after I wake up, and just like having God starting my day off with God, I can handle what comes my way. You know what I'm saying? Because I talk to God first. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I don't like it when I wake up late because then I'm like, dang, like I didn't get a chance to really talk to God. And then I'll be like on my way on the highway just rushing, and I'll have my Bible app just playing like the audio book. And I'll be like, okay. I'm trying to see if I can get like, a message from God, and like rushing. Anyways, so those are like bad days for me, because if I can't hear from God in the morning and I'm just rushing to get to work, rushing, that's not good. And I feel like God deserves like the first fruit of my day, so I have to start getting up a little bit earlier on some days. But usually every day, not every other day, but usually every day, I get up and I start my day with God, unless I have that day where I'm just like, gosh, I'm running late. Anyways, and so God's dealing with me about that. So what I was saying was, I'm learning to allow God to make that decision for me. I'm learning to allow God to lead my life. Like, I'm allowing him to choose what he wants for me. You know what I'm saying? And when things don't happen for me, it turns like, it usually turns into something better, like a better, just better. like if when people when they think that they're removing a good opportunity from me, like my last job did, like they were like, they thought by letting me go, it was going to stop something. And it didn't, like it only made me better, But I feel like God moves us into bigger and better things. So it's like sometimes what we want is not what God wants for us, because he wants to give us something better. And so what God's teaching me how to do is to learn how to let go of things without being sad about it. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes God we'll have something and it's going great and everything's great, right? And then next thing you know, like, you no longer have it, right? But God's trying to teach me how to be content with or without things. Because the one thing about the devil is he loves, like when he sees you happy, he don't like that. When he sees that you're comfortable, he don't like that, right? And so what he likes to do is he'll see that you're in a position where God's elevating you, and he'll find some way to ruin it by having you fired or trying to sabotage your company or trying to sabotage your character. You know what I'm saying? Or sending agents to sabotage your character. Like he does not want to see you prosper, right? And so, good thing that I have a God that has plan A, plan B, and plan C, honey, because, like you got to stay on top when the devil's trying to, especially when the devil's trying to play with your money. Like, you got to stay on top of it. You know what I'm saying? And so, one thing I've definitely learned is how to not become so attached to people, places, or things. You have to be okay with having a lot, and you have to be okay with having the budget, the little that you have. You have to be okay with losing people, having a lot of friends. You're going to have to be okay with losing a lot of people and being by yourself for a little while. You're going to have to be okay with, just everything. Like there was a season where I was homeless and I had to just be content with sharing a bedroom at my aunt's house in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like I was content with that. I was really blessed to even just have a bed to sleep in. And then after I left my aunt's house, I moved out of that state. And when I moved, I had to go sleep at a shelter with my kids. It was a little bit of a struggle, but I was very content with where I was. Like, the devil, he will sometimes try to wreak havoc into your life and bring you, and God will allow it. Let's be real. Let's be real. We give the devil way too much credit. Like, in the book of Job, God says, have you tried my servant Job? Like, God gives the devil permission to take away everything that you got. And he gives the devil permission to reap havoc over your life because God has a hedge about you. He has a hedge of protection about you. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was my kids. Anyways, so sometimes God will remove the hedge of protection and let the devil just wreak whole havoc in your life. You know what I'm saying? And God wants and it's just making you stronger. You have to, that's why God wants us to be content, because like when the devil tries to play games like that with your livelihood, with your finances, you know what I'm saying? With whatever you got, you have to be relentless, just as relentless as he is with your faith in God. Like I remember I was living in a shelter and like 5 hours from the cities in Minnesota. It was like in the sticks. Oh my gosh, like nobody lived out there. It was like 1,000 people in that town. I was like one of the 3 black people that lived out there, right? I don't know why I feel like I need to say that, but baby, it was crazy out there, right? Anyways, when I lived in that shelter, I didn't have no job. I was getting like government assistance, you know what I'm saying? And God like provided all of my needs. Like I'm talking about, I had the Tempur-Pedic bed, a whole flat screen, a whole kitchen to cook on. I'm talking about a whole shelter. They provided me with my own like apartment area. And one day they randomly called me and my kids into the office and gave me a check for $1,500. I'm just like, what, like, Lord. And all I did was wake up and pray and get into my Bible. That's literally all I did. And talk about God's goodness. You know what I'm saying? I have this girl who I was staying there with. And, I used to always tell her, like, man, like, sometimes when I read the Bible, like, God speaks to me. Like, he'll draw my eyes to, like, something and I'll just read it. He'll be speaking directly to my situation. And so I had her try it. And I'm telling you, like, I bet you, I heard through the grapevine from someone who's still connected to her. They told me that she completely gave her life to God, and I was so happy because she was going through so many mental issues. You know what I'm saying? Like anxiety, depression, like all types of stuff. You know, and it was just so much. I'm like, girl, them demons is hitting you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I honestly, personally believe that anxiety and depressions those are spirits. Like you gotta pray through that and fight it in the spiritual realm because that's a spiritual matter. Anyways, yeah, so yeah, I just God provided that $1,500 check helped me get my apartment. You know, it was, and then there was other money coming out of nowhere. I'm just receiving just money out of nowhere. And all I'm doing is praying, reading my Bible, and taking care of my kids. Like, it was just kind of crazy. It was crazy. It was just money coming out of nowhere. And so I'm just like, God is just, you just got to trust that God is always going to provide. He's always going to make a way for you, like, period. So don't ever worry about a thing. And then now I kind of want to go into the topic of workplace mobbing because I feel like God wanted me to say that. Like, he wanted me to just let you guys know, like, don't try to force nothing. Don't try to manipulate a situation. If something don't work out for you, it's because God is leading you to a different, like me, I personally believe that God be leading me to certain places because he wants me to learn lessons. Like the job that I'm working at now, I've learned my lesson there. Like, there's this lady who I've learned a lot from. Like, she's really strong spiritually. Like, in the natural realm, she seems like really sweet and really nice, which she is. But in the spiritual realm, like, she's a beast. Like, her patience, she has so much patience. And her tongue, this woman holds her tongue, and she keeps positive energy in the midst of darkness. And I'm just like, this girl is cold. She's a cold piece. How I know God's trying to train me on being like that, because, like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, I know how to check myself, but there be times where I'll be having these thoughts like, God, you need to deal with her, or I'm going to deal with her. And God's like, look, just don't do nothing, chill out. And I'm just, you know, I'll be waiting because, you know, some of God's people, it's like poking a bear. Like, and I just posted something on Facebook last night. I'm just like, look, God has a leash on a lot of people. Like, I'd be trying to tell people, like, if it wasn't for God and my kids, like, honey, okay, like, he has a leash on me. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I don't do and say a lot of things I used to do and say when I was younger is because of that leash, that hold that God has on my mouth and on everything else, you know, because he knows I am feisty. You know, God's working on me from the inside out. He's definitely softened my heart to be more genuine and more caring towards people, you know what I'm saying, and more selfless. And that's what I love about God. Like, you know, he helps me to think more about other people instead of myself. And I love that so much. But, like, what was I saying? So, you know, just he has me there to learn how to be like that. Because you know how I know that he has me there to learn that is because I had this dream. Now, a lot of people know that, you know, I love fashion. Like, I love clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's something I've never ever been able to, like, afford growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom was a single mom of 4, and she was very young. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I just always loved fashion. I always loved fashion. And, like, everybody knows that I just would love to have, like, a, you know, a successful, you know, clothing store. Like, that's always been something that I wanted to be a nurse growing up. And I still like that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why, because I just love helping people. but I also love clothes. I love clothes, right? So where was I going with this? So I was talking about my clothes. And so what I was saying was, like, I had this dream, and it was of a boutique owner, right? I was with my brother's ex-girlfriend and her family, right? Which is crazy because these people are so sweet. I would never even guess that they would even act like that, you know? But it was a dream, of course, right? So I'm with my brother's ex-girlfriend and her family. We're all in this RV, like this bus, like a mega bus or something like that. And we're on like this family vacation. And it's literally just me and her family. I have no friends with me. It's just me, her, and her family, right? My brother's nowhere in sight. I'm just hanging out with these people, right? And there was like a boutique owner. She was on the bus with us. And she was just like the sweetest person. So bubbly, so happy. Kind of like this coworker that I'm talking about, right? But and so I'm just looking at the boutique owner, and I'm just like, wow, she's such a sweet person. But I just noticed that everybody on the bus was treating her like trash. Everybody on the bus. And you know what they did to the boutique owner on the bus? They stripped her naked, and they threw her out in the middle of the street and threw her off the bus. And you know what? When I just remember looking back. I looked out the window and I looked back at her to see if she was okay as we started to drive off. And do you know what that boutique owner was doing? She was standing there naked, waving like in excitement, "Bye, guys." And before she got off the bus, I remember asking if she was okay. I'm like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need something? Are you okay?" And she's like, "No, I have a store up the road. I'm fine. Everything's great." I'm just like, "All right, sis, like, let me know if you need something." So they like threw her off the bus. And when I look back, she was just like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like how is Shorty still giddy, smiling after what these people just did to her? And so, long story short, or fast forward to reality. I have this coworker who's just kind of like that. Like she's like, no matter how anybody talks to her, no matter how anybody treats her, she's like this giddy sweetie, like she's the sweetest thing ever, right? And that was the lesson that I needed to learn. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know. I don't really see me being at this job forever. But I feel like the lesson that I needed to learn here was to be like that. In the midst of adversity, in the midst of whatever it is I'm going through, like continue to keep my energy, my positive energy, continue to stay happy, continue to smile. Don't let nobody bring me down, because that's on them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was definitely the lesson I needed to learn working there. And so that's and I thank God. And I told her too. She was wondering. She came up to me and she was like, sometimes I just kind of wonder, like, what am I here for? Like, God, why did you bring me here? If I'm being used in any way to help, And I was like, oh, you're on assignment right now. And I told her exactly, how I am. And I was like, how God's, teaching me how to be like what because I'd never had an example before. Nobody's ever just really willing to just be happy in the midst of being disrespected or talked down to. You know what I'm saying? But and that's a rare example, because nobody's really trying to teach it. Like nobody wants to be talked down to. But, just seeing how she handles herself and conducts herself in such a positive manner, it's so enlightening. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm also like, I've witnessed, other people deal with it, harshly, to the point where they're willing to give up their job, to combat that situation. And it's just like, I'm probably going to go the other route, you know, because it's not worth it, especially when you're a mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got kids and stuff. You ain't got time for that, you know. But anyways, workplace mobbing. I'm gonna get on this topic really quick. When you okay, I think I'm going to do a separate video about this because I want people to really hone in on what I'm about to say, because it's like I'm about to go real deep in thought with this topic. So I'm going to upload this video right quick. I don't even know what to title this video, but I'm going to upload it really quick and I'll be right back with the next one.